Skolnick.
And I'm Doug Fraser.
And we're here at Body Electric Massage School, actually Body Electric School of Massage and Rebirthing in Oakland at 6527A Telegraph Avenue, across the street from Mama Bear's. We're both teachers here. Body Electric is unique probably in massage schools in the whole world for having as a major focus offering a homophobia-free environment for bodywork training. It's a California certified massage school offering 100-hour trainings and also more advanced classes. The 100-hour trainings take place either on weekends or during 2-week intensives, which are often attended by people who come from other states to participate in this unique atmosphere. The training is eclectic. It includes oil massage, Jinshindo acupressure, some shiatsu, rebirthing, and a special course on bodywork for people with life-threatening illnesses. One of the early focuses of the school when it was founded in 1984 was to help train people who were working as volunteers, giving care to people with AIDS by giving them more massage training. And at that time, the school offered 50% discount on the training to people who were actively working as volunteers. It still offers a 25% discount on the basic training to people who are involved in that work. And that's one thing that makes teaching here special, that you feel like you're contributing to something that's really filling a need and that's changing people's lives. So people are learning a skill when they come here, and they're also, in many cases, their focus is more on themselves. It's a crossroads in their life. Massage is something they've always wanted to learn. And the experiences that they go through during 2 weeks of learning various skills, getting work done, working on each other, produces tremendous bonding and a real life-changing experience, a real transformative experience for many of the students.
Originally I studied about 1980 at the Massage Institute, which was very Swedish, Esalen-oriented, and then began to study here in Berkeley at the Institute for Educational Therapy, where I became certified as a movement therapist. So I began to get more of a structural and movement perspective going with my clients. And I began reading about chakras and meridians and other energetic flows, and I was beginning to sense those things intuitively. And it wasn't until I worked with Barney Cohen where she gave me the message, we all know all this. She is a teacher in Amherst, Massachusetts. She has a school called School for Body Mind Centering. And it was there that she confirmed our intuition. She confirmed that we all know this at a very cellular level in our bodies. And we have to forget things we've been taught in this lifetime to really allow the knowledge to come through ourselves. And just the idea that every bit of information of the whole body is known in each cell, we can access that. We can access that by our touch. We can access that through our imagery, through our breath, through our movement. I really want to, with my clients, I really think I do convey to them a real holographic sense of their bodies, that they aren't just skin and bones lying there on the table, but they have a core of self-knowledge which can really flower with touch and with movement and with breath, with emotions, with their whole being.
This is the Jinshindo neck and shoulder release is the first thing I teach in the classes. If I teach a class that's just a short class, like a 3-hour class, this March we had here several free evening classes for women only, and I taught 24 women this neck and shoulder release. I had a bunch of graduates of the school assisting me, and everybody had a wonderful time. It's real flexible because you can tack it on the end of an oil massage or some other kind of massage. You can do it by yourself, and it's a pattern that, with variations, I will usually do at the end of a longer acupressure session. Jinshindo is a real simple technique in the sense that it just involves pressing with the fingertips. Just pressure, nothing else. And in the basic class, we teach 45 points. This neck and shoulder release will use 5 of those. First, I'm just reaching underneath the shoulders into the joint, pressing right against the bone of the joint. And I would go slower than I am going here. I would hold these points for several minutes until the muscular tension let go some, and until I could feel some sense of completeness, usually a pulsation under my fingertips, maybe he'd take a deep breath, different signs of relaxation would let me know that it was time to go on, and I would probably hold it another minute or two, or maybe hold one tight side together with other places that would help that tense energy go somewhere else than just hang around there in his shoulders. And I would be trying to let the energy have a pathway to go up over his shoulders, up over his head, and circulate in his whole body. The second point I'd be holding is just over the inner tip of the shoulder blades. This is not a real dramatic form to watch or to photograph. Nothing seems to be happening, and yet a lot is happening internally. Often, and I'll tell people this when I work with them, Doug, you'll probably find that you feel sensations elsewhere in your body than where I'm pressing. This is normal. Where can you feel it as I'm holding him?
Behind the left knee.
So he can feel that down on his legs while I'm holding all the way up on his shoulders. This is an indication that the energy is moving. Sometimes there'll be another tense area and the person will feel some discomfort or an ache there as the chi, we call it chi or ki, Chinese and Japanese words for the life force, as they're moving through. They kind of have to work their way through other blockages in the body. And so I always tell people to expect that so that they don't become alarmed and think, oh, this is bad for me or something bad's happening here. It's just the energy moving and recirculating, and that's the basic premise, is that tension is not something bad energy necessarily that we want to incinerate, but it's just energy. There's nothing but energy, and this tense shoulder, when it releases and relaxes, will then make more energy available for other parts of his body, for his internal organs, so he'll just generally function better. Here I've moved up to another point here, right on top of the trapezius muscles, this big muscle that gets so tight on the top of your shoulders. First I'm just grabbing it with my fingers, and then I go into this direct pressure, just pushing right into that muscle. And I can push as soft or as hard as he wants. Different people have really different tolerances to how much pressure they want into their muscles and into these points, which typically will be very sensitive at first, and then will feel pleasurable as the tension goes away. So Doug, make sure to tell me if at any point you want more or less pressure. I can take a little bit more, and I will always gradually increase the pressure, and then I gradually decrease it as I take my hands away. So that often people will say, oh, I thought your hands were still there. You're pressing another point, and they think you're still on the one that you just left. This one's a little stubborn, as is often the case with people like Doug and myself who use their hands a lot and are body workers. Our tension tends to be a lot on the shoulder. So I'll work a little more on this right shoulder. I'll hold it with another point that's just below the deltoid muscle on the top of his arm. And that's going to help that first point to let go a lot quicker than if I just rubbed it or pushed it along with the one on the left side. And I'd do a couple combinations. Reach down, holding the tip of the middle finger over there. And there's a lot of different choices that I have in how to work. A lot of different combinations would help this let go. If I knew that if it was really tight and maybe I want to work on his hip as well, there's another point above the hip joint that I could introduce here as well. Take a big breath, please, Doug. And as he exhales, which is a good time, people are relaxing anyway, I press into this point on the shoulder and this point above the hip, which is going to help both the shoulder girdle and the hip girdle to let go. And I know when it's time to let go, because now I can feel a real distinct pulsation in both fingertips. It wasn't there before. Before I could just feel this hard muscle. Now it's let go enough. I'll just hold both sides again for a moment. And then I move on to the tightest area on the back of his neck, staying off the spine itself. I don't want to press against the muscle. I feel along these muscles on the back of his neck, all the way from his shoulders to his skull, and I find the tightest place, a real knot, and I just press directly into it, reaching underneath and pushing up with my fingertips. And again, I'm going a little faster than I normally would. I'd probably hold this for a while and then try some other combinations with the tighter side. The right side of his neck is a little tighter than the left. They both could use more work, though, so I've got various choices. I can take this point on his rib cage. And this kind of helps connect and release both his breathing and the neck tension. And the feeling most people experience towards the end of this is just they just want to continue to lie there. They feel peaceful, they feel centered, and they feel like they can, that it's safe to feel the bodily tensions, because when I first press, it's sensitive, it's painful, and then it's an education process in a way to find that we can feel that pain. We can feel both our physical and our emotional pain. We can go right through it and come out on the other side. So that's a lot of what massage therapy is about. It's just being there, providing a space and an opening for someone to grow and make changes and let go of some of their bodily tensions, let go of some of their emotional inhibitions also, and heal some bodily and some emotional wounds also that many of us have been carrying for a long time from when we were children or from when different things happened that were traumatic in our lives. So it's very satisfying. I'm going now on the other side. I'm holding right by his eye, connecting these 2 points on the neck and the eye. And I'm always trying to feel a connection between my 2 fingers, or just focusing on that. That was why I said that the meditation helped, because it just helped me to be able to sit still and be quiet and listen to what was going on a quieter level than a lot of physical activity. Jin Shindo is an inherently meditative style, and it's part of why it's so exciting to teach. It opens the students in the class up to an awareness of their own bodies and their own feelings, which often is something new for them and something that they've been wanting, just a deeper level of feeling alive, really, and of knowing who they are. Or somebody could just come and they just want to relax and they want their headache to go away, and we can approach it that way. So it could be very simple or it can be very deep. Here I'm holding a point just below his collarbone, his clavicle, that is a place where many of the flows that go through the head enter into their internal flows. They go in and nourish the internal organs. So I think of it that this is a place where we're opening a door here where some of this neck tension can be productively used to help us digestive organs and everything run better while we're letting go. It's like we never want to waste energy. We want to recirculate it. And that in itself, that concept in itself can be very healing for most people, that they don't have bad energy. Like a lot of people are tense. They know that they're tense because of the commute or because of the job they don't like. They're not only tense and suffering from that, but they hate themselves for having the tension, for the blockages. So if we can put that in perspective and say, look, this is only energy, you can free it up. This is not something bad. You're not bad because you have tensions or have compromises that you have to make in your life. And this can be a place of healing and reorientation of how people feel about themselves, really, which is the deepest healing. I'm spending a lot of time on the neck, and the next point, the 5th point in this release, is right under the ridge of the skull. I'll also make sure that's really released. This is a place of much blockage in a really small area. If you put your hands around your neck like this, you'll see how small this is, yet this is such a problem area. It's such a bottleneck of tensions, and it's really important to work on this, even though it's just a small part of the body. It's a key to a lot more. So that would probably be one difference between Asian-style massage, or this style of acupressure in particular, and oil massage also. Is there's more emphasis on the head and the neck and less on the limbs. Although, as I said, Jinshindo, if somebody had a knee problem, you could focus on the knee. But I would always end up with this work on the head so that I didn't leave that bottleneck clogged up, you know. And here's the last combination, just holding right under the ridge of the skull between the big muscles of the neck, the trapezius and the sternocleidomastoid. My finger just fits in there. And I just aim it at this other finger that's over his eyebrow. As soon as I get those 2 points working together, I can feel a release. You saw I took some deep breaths, and I can feel the pulsation under my fingertips that indicate to me that the energy is flowing better. Then I just end up bringing it up over the top. I'm holding right at the middle on the base of his skull, right at the top of the neck bones, and right at the top of the head. I'm just touching lightly here. Just want to bring it back so that he doesn't feel dizzy when he gets up, because so much is up at the top part of his body. We'll bring it back over to his chest and his belly so that it's moving around the whole body again. And just go right down the middle. Press on the sternum, the breastbone, right between the nipples. And each time I'm just waiting to feel a connection between my two hands, feel the energy move. And really, that's one exciting thing about teaching the classes is people discover that they can do this, that it really is an ability that everyone has. Feel the movement of the chi, the life force, which is a force more subtle than electricity, yet more powerful than physical force. So I might end up just like this at the end of the session, just waiting, relaxing my hands, lifting off gently. And then I would tell the person to stay lying down for a few minutes, don't sit up right away.
Okay, I'm going to work with Ruth now. She worked with Jinshindo on me as the harried commuter with my neck tension and shoulder tension. So now we're going to switch roles, and now Ruth is the person who's coming home and is getting all frazzled by traffic and finds herself all hunched up. So Ruth, I want you just to pretend you're in your car driving home. And, right, okay. So what I want to do is show Ruth how in an everyday situation she can use her body to relax, to de-stress herself, and use a common situation that she's in each day to do that. So while she's driving, she doesn't have to hunch up and doesn't have to get all stressed and block that energy, which she was talking about. We really want our bodies to be soft and fluid and flowing. And when you're hunched up here and grabbing onto that steering wheel, it's hard to allow the energy to flow. So what I'm going to do is, with you holding onto the steering wheel here, I just want you to pretend to, or not pretend, I want you to just relax your shoulders and drop your shoulders. You can see immediately there's this sense of relaxation. I think as a culture, we're all kind of hunched up into here. We're such a heady culture that we're all just going through life, I think, in a semi-state of shock the whole time. So, I mean, just like noises on the street, and we're bombarded by so many different kinds of environmental pollutions that one of the automatic reactions is to hunch up into our shoulders. So if you could just relax the shoulders and let the shoulders drop down, and we can even use the steering wheel as a tool, because she could actually lift up on the steering wheel a little higher and grab a little higher so that her shoulders can even drop a little more. So what you're doing is you're using the scapulas here as kind of a counterweight for the arm. So since the arm is a little bit higher up on the steering wheel, we can now use the weight of the shoulders to fall down just a little bit more. Okay? So you can actually allow your elbows to feel heavier. And of course, she's not holding on to a steering wheel right now, so it's harder for her to do it. But let's say on the steering wheel here, she can just let her shoulders drop down, let her elbows relax a little bit, let her hands soften a bit, and just allow her arms to kind of hang off the steering wheel. So immediately automatically she's just getting more movement in through here. Her shoulders are less tight. She's going to be less congested in here so she can breathe a little bit more free. Okay, see, free breath. Another little clue too when you're in an everyday situation, as in driving or just sitting, is we want to lengthen the spine. Too often we're kind of congested in the back here, we're kind of hunched back like this. So a nice clue here to give Ruth's body is to allow the back of the neck just to lengthen a bit by bringing the back of the skull just up a little bit so the top of your head is kind of exposed more to the sky, and her chin can just come down just a touch to really allow the skull to more fluidly float on top of the spine. So as I'm giving a little bit of indication of the skull of coming up here, I'm lengthening the cervical vertebra, which is also an area which is very congested and tight. And my other hand, I'm going to come down here onto Ruth's sacrum. I'm going to have her breathe down to relax her buttocks, to relax her pelvis, to bring the energy and her attention down into her legs and down into her feet, where she can ground herself more through the support of the whole pelvis and through the support through the legs instead of grabbing onto here, where a lot of us seem to hunch our backs. So here I'm giving a lengthening to the spine at the lumbar and lower part of the vertebra, and here I'm lengthening the spine at the cervical and upper thoracic vertebra. So I'm giving a sense of the spine lengthening from both ends. Okay. And another nice kind of indication to give to Ruth would be to just kind of feel proud. Just lift her sternum just a touch, and just breathe a bit more into your belly. And as you exhale, just allow your belly to relax and sink down into your pelvis, sink down into your lower abdomen.
Oh, that helps.
Yeah. So once again, we are kind of lowering her center of gravity. Instead of being all hunched up in here, we're allowing her to relax, to lower her center of gravity, to relax her belly, to relax her organs, to take advantage of the support of her pelvis and the grounding through her legs and through her feet. Remember that one of those legs is, if she's got an automatic, is right on the floor of the car, and the other one is making contact with the accelerator, so that there is a sense of connection there that she can take advantage of. And of course, with all this work, breathing is real important. You want to breathe into different parts of the body. I think a part of massage and body work, a real important part, is to allow the person to access their body more thoroughly. That there shouldn't be any parts of the body that remain hidden and unknown territory. We should have access to our entire body through our breath, through our imagery, through our movements, through our relaxations. So we have Ruth now, a relaxed motorist, with her shoulders down, with her back of her neck lengthened a bit, with her chest a bit more relaxed, her belly more relaxed, really grounded into her lower part of her body. And let's just drive one more time. So just relax your hand. Yeah. So I think that looks much more fluid and relaxed. And take a couple more deep breaths into your belly. And as you exhale, just let the air go down your legs. And let your arms get a little bit heavier. There it is. Let your elbows relax and let the steering wheel take the support of your body. Okay. There you go.
What helped most was bringing the weight down into the pelvis and the belly. That I experienced that.
Right.
That was the most help.
I think a lot of us seem to sense our whole torso as being kind of one rigid structure. And if we can get kind of the fluidity through the diaphragm area here, through the solar plexus, to to allow the organs just to relax and allow the chest to come up at the same time, we get a sense of opening, front and back, up and down, side to side. So, I think you're done.
That was wonderful from Ruth Skolnick and Doug Fraser and the Body Electric School of Massage in Berkeley. We want to thank them, as well as the Old Lesbians Conference Planning Committee. You've been watching Our Stripe and the Rainbow, copyright 1989, all rights reserved. This has been our first episode. Camera work was by Janelle Powers and JJNoire, produced by JJNoire. We'd like to thank Del Martin and Phyllis Lyon, also Colleen Peterson, East Bay Alternative, Guy and Rod and Pittsburg Viacom Channel 16, and everybody else for making this first episode possible. We hope you'll tune in next time, and we're going to leave you here with Ruth Blackburn, recorded live at Mama Bear's on Telegraph Avenue in Oakland just a couple months ago. Enjoy.